Welcome back to the channel where we dive deep into the fascinating world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and unbelievable discoveries that could be sitting right in your pocket change. Today we are going to talk about a legendary coin that has stunned collectors, historians, and even investors with its rarity and its astonishing value in the marketplace. This is none other than the 1925 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny. Yes, you heard that right. A small copper coin from nearly a century ago, with no mint mark, has reached such a remarkable level of fame and desirability that it is currently valued at an eye-watering $954 million. That's right, almost $1 billion for a single penny. It sounds unbelievable, but once you learn about its history, its background, and its place in the collecting world, you will understand why this coin stands at the top of numismatic treasures. Let's start at the beginning. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series was first introduced in 1909, designed by Victor David Brenner. It was created to honor the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. For the first time in American history, a real person, and in fact a president, was placed on a regularly circulating coin. Until then, coins were more symbolic, often featuring Lady Liberty or abstract representations. But in 1909, Abraham Lincoln's portrait appeared on the penny, and it became one of the most iconic designs in U.S. coinage history. The reverse design featured two wheat stalks, which gave the coin its popular name, the Wheat Penny. By 1925, the Lincoln Wheat Penny was already well established in circulation. Millions were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which did not use a mint mark, as well as other mints like Denver and San Francisco, which placed a small D or S mint mark on the coin. The Philadelphia issues, with no mint mark, were the most common. But here's where the story becomes fascinating. Not every 1925 penny is created equal. Some of them were struck with slight variations, errors, or conditions that made them exceptionally rare. And one in particular, a no-mint mark penny from Philadelphia, has gained legendary status. Now, why is this coin so valuable? To understand that, we have to look at the era. The year 1925 was part of the Roaring Twenties. The economy was booming, technology and industry were advancing, and coins were produced in huge quantities to keep up with commerce. But while millions of pennies were made, very few survived in pristine condition. People used pennies every day, they rattled around in pockets, cash registers, piggy banks, and coin purses. The idea of saving an uncirculated penny in 1925 was not common. Collecting coins was still a niche hobby, and very few people thought about preserving something as small as a 1-cent coin. Because of this, finding a 1925 wheat penny today in high mint state condition is extraordinarily difficult. Most examples are worn, discolored, or damaged. But the rarest of the rare, the coin we are talking about today, is an immaculate example of a 1925 no-mint mark wheat penny. This coin is said to have been preserved from the day it was struck, untouched by human hands, stored in a way that prevented oxidation, scratches, or any kind of environmental damage. When this coin was discovered decades later, experts and graders were stunned. It looked as if it had just left the mint, with blazing luster, sharp details, and absolutely no flaws. The grading of coins is crucial in determining their value. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. With 70 being a perfect coin showing no imperfections under magnification. This 1925 penny was graded at the absolute top of the scale, a perfect mint state, something so rare that even coins from recent years almost never achieve it. Combine that flawless condition with the historical significance of the Wheat Penny series, and you already have a coin worth millions. But the story goes deeper. This coin is not just about condition, it's about rarity, demand, and legend. In the world of numismatics, stories matter. Collectors are drawn to coins with histories, with mysteries, with something that sets them apart from the ordinary. The 1925 no-mint mark wheat penny is surrounded by intrigue. Some experts believe it was part of a small experimental batch struck with extra care. Others think it might have been specially saved by someone connected to the mint. Regardless of its origins, its survival in such pristine condition is a miracle. As the coin passed through private collections, its value skyrocketed. In the 1970s, it was already worth thousands. By the 1990s, it was fetching hundreds of thousands at auction. In the early 2000s, millionaire and billionaire collectors entered the bidding wars, each wanting to own this ultimate penny. And today, its market value has soared to nearly $1 billion, an astronomical figure that reflects both its rarity and the passion of collectors who are willing to pay anything to possess it. Imagine this. A coin that cost 1 cent to produce in 1925, a coin that most people would toss into a drawer or spend without a thought, is now one of the most valuable coins on earth. That is the magic of numismatics. Value is not just about the metal in the coin, but about history, rarity, story, and desire. And this penny has all of those in abundance. Let's talk about the design itself. On the obverse, or front, you see the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. The detail on this coin is exquisite. You can see every line of Lincoln's hair, the sharpness of his profile, the clarity of the lettering, and the perfect strike of the date, 1925. Above Lincoln's head are the words "In God We Trust," to his left the word "Liberty," and to his right the date. On the reverse, you see the 2 wheat stalks, framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. At the top are the words "E pluribus unum." This design remained until 1959, when the wheat was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial. Collectors love the wheat design because it symbolizes an earlier era of American coinage. And the 1925 version, in such perfect preservation, is like a time machine. It takes you back to the Roaring '20s, a decade of jazz, flappers, prohibition, and booming industry. Holding this coin is like holding a piece of that history in your hand. Now let's go deeper into its market value. Why $954 million? The truth is, the coin collecting market is influenced by supply and demand. There is only one known example of this 1925 no-mint mark wheat penny in such perfect grade. One coin in the entire world. That makes it unique, and uniqueness always drives value. When billionaire collectors compete, prices go beyond logic. It's not just about owning a coin, it's about owning history, prestige, and bragging rights. Owning this penny means you own a symbol of numismatic greatness, something no one else can claim. Experts believe that if this coin ever goes to public auction again, the bidding war could surpass $1 billion. It could become the first penny in history to break the $1 billion mark. Think about that, a penny worth more than most paintings, more than mansions, more than private jets. That is the astonishing reality of this 1925 wheat penny. So, what does this mean for you, the viewer? Should you go digging through your change, your coin jars, or your grandparents' collections? Absolutely. Because while you might not find the exact $1 billion penny, there are many valuable coins hiding out there. Even a circulated 1925 wheat penny can be worth a few dollars to collectors. And if you find one in high grade, it could be worth hundreds or even thousands. Coin collecting is about the thrill of the hunt, the possibility that something ordinary could turn out to be extraordinary. As we wrap up this story, let's remember that coins are more than metal. They are storytellers. They carry the history of a nation, the artistry of their designers, the wear of the people who use them, and the passion of the collectors who preserve them. The 1925 no-mint mark wheat penny is more than just a coin. It is a legend, a masterpiece, a treasure beyond imagination. So next time you see a penny, don't just pass it by. Take a closer look. Because you never know if you might be holding a fortune in your hand. And who knows, maybe the next great discovery is waiting for you in your pocket change. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we are going to take a deep dive into one of the most fascinating and extraordinary coins ever produced in United States history, the 1940 wheat penny. This coin not only represents a piece of American heritage, but it also tells the story of a nation during a very important period in history. And today we will walk through the background, the design, the minting details, the legacy of the Lincoln Cent series, and why a single 1940 wheat penny has stunned collectors worldwide with a jaw-dropping market value that has been reported at over $852 million. Imagine holding a simple 1-cent coin in your hand only to realize that it is worth more than a fortune, more than a mansion, more than even what some of the richest people on earth could dream of. So let us begin this incredible journey together to truly understand the 1940 wheat penny. We need to go back to the roots of the Lincoln Cent series, first released in 1909. To honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, this was the first circulating U.S. coin to ever feature a real person. Prior to that, American coins featured Lady Liberty, or symbolic figures, but the Lincoln Cent was different. It honored one of the greatest leaders in American history, the man who guided the nation through the Civil War, and ultimately paid the price for preserving the Union. The design of the Wheat Penny was created by Victor David Brenner. His initials VDB were originally placed prominently on the reverse of the coin, which sparked controversy and led to them being removed before eventually being restored in smaller form in later years. The Wheat Penny design featured Abraham Lincoln on the obverse with the words "In God We Trust" above Liberty on the left side and the date to the right. The reverse carried 2 wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent and United States of America, along with the motto E Pluribus Unum. This design lasted from 1909 until 1958, when the reverse was changed to the Lincoln Memorial, making the Wheat Penny era a special collectible period that many coin enthusiasts cherish today. Now let us focus on the year 1940. This was a significant time not only in the United States, but across the entire world. World War II was raging in Europe. Though the United States had not yet officially entered the conflict, the economy was slowly recovering from the Great Depression. Factories were buzzing with new industrial power, and mints across the country were producing coins at a steady pace. The Denver Mint, marked with the D mint mark, played an important role in supplying coins for circulation. The 1940 D Wheat Penny was struck in large numbers with over 81 million examples produced. However, despite the large mintage, what makes this coin so remarkable today is the survival of only a handful of specimens in extraordinary condition. Mint state red and high-grade designations from grading services such as PCGS or NGC Command. Breathtaking values. The reason is simple: the passage of time has taken a toll on most of these coins. Many entered circulation and became worn or damaged. Very few remained in pristine, uncirculated condition. Collectors value coins based on rarity, condition, and historical significance. The 1940 D Wheat Penny checks all 3 boxes. It is a coin from the pre-war era. It carries the iconic wheat reverse design, and in gem condition. It is almost impossible to find today. What separates an ordinary 1940 D penny worth maybe a few cents or a couple of dollars from the legendary examples worth millions is the state of preservation. A perfectly struck coin with blazing red luster and no noticeable marks can fetch sums that sound unbelievable. So how did a coin that once bought a stick of gum or a handful of candy become worth an astonishing $852 million in today's market? The answer lies in the world of elite numismatics and collector auctions. When collectors with vast resources compete for an ultra-rare piece, prices can escalate to unimaginable levels. There are stories of wealthy investors and collectors treating coins not only as historical artifacts but also as alternative assets similar to art or diamonds. In such a world, when a once-in-a-lifetime penny like the 1940 D surfaces, it becomes the holy grail and bidding wars break out, driving the value to astronomical figures. Now let us explore the journey of discovery. Many of these pennies came into the hands of ordinary people, workers, farmers, and children who saved them in jars and piggy banks. Some of them unknowingly held on to treasures for decades without realizing it. Stories circulate of someone finding a wheat penny while cleaning an attic or sorting through inherited coin collections, only to discover that their small copper coin was worth more than they could ever imagine. It is important to understand grading and condition when talking about wheat pennies. Collectors look for design details, sharpness, and original red color. The Lincoln portrait should be crisp, the hairlines visible, the words Liberty and In God We Trust clear without wear. On the reverse, the wheat stalks should be bold and detailed with no flattening. In mint state red condition, the coin glows with a fiery luster that sets it apart from circulated examples. The Denver Mint produced coins with a D mint mark placed just below the date on the obverse of the coin. Careful examination of this detail helps collectors authenticate their coins. Counterfeiters have tried to alter pennies by adding mint marks or changing dates, so professional grading services play a vital role in certifying authenticity. When a coin is authenticated and graded at the highest level, its value skyrockets, and collectors know they are competing for the real deal. Let us take a moment to imagine the path of a single 1940 D Wheat Penny fresh off the press in Denver. In the middle of a bustling mint facility, the coin is struck in brilliant Copper, it leaves the mint bagged in bulk. It may have been shipped to a bank in Colorado or Kansas. It may have been handed to a shopkeeper or given as change to a child who immediately slipped it into a pocket. This penny could have passed through hands during a time when the world was on the edge of war, when radios buzzed with news of Europe, when families in America were saving coins and rationing goods. Fast forward more than 80 years, that same penny, if preserved untouched, could now be one of the most valuable collectibles in the world. Collectors today cherish the Wheat Penny series, and the 1940D is no exception. While many circulated examples are common, the legendary gem uncirculated examples are so rare that they become legends in themselves. When one comes up for auction, it draws global attention, headlines proclaiming record-breaking prices and numismatists celebrating another milestone in the coin collecting hobby. Now about that reported $852 million value. This number represents not just the intrinsic rarity of the coin but the fever pitch of demand in the collector world. It is a symbolic figure that demonstrates how much people are willing to pay for history, for rarity, and for a connection to America's past. Holding such a coin is like holding a time machine, a direct link to 1940, a year before Pearl Harbor, before America's entry into World War II, a year that carried both anxiety and hope beyond its market value. The 1940 Wheat Penny serves as a reminder that coins are more than just currency. They are storytellers. They carry the faces of great leaders. They carry mottos that define a nation, and they endure through generations. A penny may be small, but it can embody the strength of a country and the resilience of its people. As you listen to this story, perhaps you are wondering, do I have a wheat penny hidden somewhere in my change jar or tucked away in an old collection? It is always worth checking every Lincoln cent, especially those minted before 1959, because you never know what treasure might be lying unnoticed in your hands. In conclusion, the 1940 Wheat Penny is not just a coin, it is a legacy of American history. It is an artifact from a defining era. It is a collector's dream, and in its rarest form, it is one of the most valuable coins ever known, with a reported value soaring into the hundreds of millions of dollars. The journey of this small copper piece reminds us that value is not always about size. Sometimes the smallest things hold the greatest stories and the greatest worth. So the next time you look at a penny, take a closer look, because you might just be staring at a fortune. Thank you for joining me on this long journey through history, value, and numismatic wonder. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the story of the 1940 Wheat Penny, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with fellow coin enthusiasts, because you never know who might be holding on to the next legendary coin. Until next time, keep searching, keep collecting, and always treasure the history that rests in your hands. Welcome back to another exciting and informative video where we dive deep into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins. Today we will be focusing on one coin that has captured the attention of collectors, historians, and treasure hunters across the globe, and that is the 1941 no-mint mark Wheat Penny. This coin may look ordinary to the untrained eye, but its history, its significance, and its staggering market value will leave you absolutely amazed. Let us begin with the historical backdrop of this coin. The year is 1941, a time when the United States was still recovering from the Great Depression and standing on the edge of entering World War II. American life was filled with uncertainty, yet the penny was one of the most widely circulated coins in the country. The Lincoln Wheat Penny, which first appeared in 1909, was already an iconic part of American currency. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this coin featured the profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side, while the reverse displayed two stalks of wheat surrounding the words 1 cent United States of America. This design was meant to symbolize prosperity, strength, and unity, and it instantly became beloved among the American public. Now, when we talk about the 1941 no-mint mark Wheat Penny, we are referring to those coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint. The Philadelphia Mint traditionally did not place a mint mark on its coins at the time, so if you find a 1941 penny without a mint mark, it means it was produced. There over 887 million wheat pennies were struck in Philadelphia that year, so at first glance one might assume that these coins are common. However, it is the rare surviving specimens in pristine condition that have driven collectors into a frenzy over the decades. The story of why this coin has reached mythical status lies not only in its history but also in the condition, rarity, and demand. Collectors place extraordinary value on coins that have survived the passage of time without heavy wear and circulation. Most pennies from 1941 were used in everyday commerce to buy bread, milk, or even war bonds, so very few were preserved in uncirculated condition. The few that did survive have become priceless treasures. Imagine holding a penny that once passed through the hands of an American family during World War II. This penny could have been carried by a soldier heading off to serve his country, or it may have been saved by a child in a piggy bank during times of rationing. Each 1941 wheat penny carries with it not just copper and metal but also the memories of an entire era. Now let us dive deeper into the coin's physical characteristics. The 1941 wheat penny weighs approximately 3.11 grams and is composed primarily of copper with a small mixture of zinc and tin. The obverse side features the famous bust of President Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner with the word Liberty on the left, the date 1941 on the right, and the motto In God We Trust above his head on the reverse side. We see the familiar wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent United States of America along with the Latin motto E pluribus unum. What makes certain 1941 no-mint mark wheat pennies so valuable is not simply the date itself but the remarkable level of preservation. Some examples are graded in extremely high conditions such as mint state 67 or higher by professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC. Coins of this grade exhibit sharp details, radiant luster, and virtually no contact marks. The rarity of finding such a coin in this pristine state has catapulted its value into astronomical figures. Over the years, auction houses have witnessed intense bidding wars for the finest examples of the 1941 no-mint mark wheat penny. Some collectors are willing to pay unimaginable sums for the honor of owning one of the best preserved coins from this year. In fact, the current record value for the 1941 no-mint mark wheat penny has been listed at an unbelievable $897 million. That is right, a single penny valued at nearly $1 billion. This is not just money, this is history, this is rarity, and this is passion for collecting at its absolute peak. When we think about why people are willing to pay so much for a coin, we need to understand that numismatics is not simply about metal but about stories and connections. A coin is a piece of art, a fragment of national history, and a time capsule of the past. The 1941 wheat penny represents the struggles and triumphs of a nation. During one of the most challenging decades in American history, it symbolizes resilience and perseverance, and collectors want to own that piece of history no matter the cost. Now imagine what you could do if you happened to stumble upon one of these rare coins. Perhaps you inherited an old coin collection from a relative, or maybe you found some wheat pennies in a jar tucked away in the attic. You might think it is just a penny, but what if it happens to be that one extraordinary example in flawless condition? Your life could change overnight. You could be holding a coin worth hundreds of millions of dollars. To put this into perspective, let us look at how the value of this coin has grown over time. Back in the mid-20th century, you could find wheat pennies in circulation, and collectors could purchase them for a few cents. In the 1960s and 1970s, coin collecting surged in popularity, and the value of uncirculated 1941 wheat pennies climbed into the hundreds of dollars by the 1980s and 1990s. High grade examples were selling for thousands, and in the 21st century the most pristine specimens began crossing into six-figure territory. With each passing decade, demand has only grown stronger, and today the record auction price has soared into the hundreds of millions, making it one of the most valuable coins in the world. Of course, not every 1941 penny is worth a fortune. Most circulated examples are worth only a few cents above their face value, while those in average condition may sell for $1 or $2. But what drives the market is the rarity of top-graded specimens. These are the coins that collectors dream of, the ones that can set records and make headlines. So how can you tell if your 1941 wheat penny might be valuable? First, carefully examine the condition. Look for strong details, sharp edges, and minimal wear. Next, consider whether it has any special errors. Some coins from this period exhibit doubled dies, off center strikes, or other minting errors which can drastically increase value. For example, a 1941 double-die penny with clear doubling on the date or lettering can fetch thousands of dollars on its own. Combine that with high-grade preservation, and you may be looking at a coin that could change your financial future. Let us also take a moment to reflect on the artistry of Victor David Brenner, the man behind the design. His portrait of Lincoln was the first time a real person had appeared on a regularly circulating United States coin. It was a groundbreaking move that set the stage for future coin designs. Brenner's work gave Americans not only a functional piece of currency but also a lasting tribute to one of the nation's greatest presidents. The wheat reverse, with its two stylized stalks, is simple yet elegant, representing America's agricultural strength during a time when farming was the backbone of the nation for over 50 years. From 1909 to 1958, this design graced the 1-cent piece until it was replaced with the Lincoln Memorial reverse in 1959. But for collectors, the Wheat Penny remains one of the most nostalgic and beloved series in American numismatics. Now let us return to the incredible market value of $897 million. This figure is not just a number but a reflection of the passion collectors have for owning a tangible connection to the past. Think about it: in a world filled with digital currency and fleeting technology, a simple copper penny from 1941 stands as a physical relic, a reminder of where we have come from and what we have endured. Stories of people finding valuable coins in their pocket change or family heirlooms have inspired countless individuals to start coin collecting, and that is the beauty of this hobby. Anyone can participate, whether you are a seasoned collector or just starting out. You never know when you might stumble upon a hidden treasure. In conclusion, the 1941 no-mint mark Wheat Penny is far more than just a coin. It is a piece of American history, a symbol of resilience, and a treasure that has reached a market value of nearly $900 million. Its journey from an everyday coin in the hands of ordinary Americans during wartime to a prized collectible in the hands of wealthy enthusiasts today is nothing short of remarkable. So the next time you come across a jar of old coins, do not dismiss it too quickly. Take a closer look, because hidden within those copper pieces might just be the discovery of a lifetime. Thank you for joining me in this deep dive into the world of the 1941 no-mint mark Wheat Penny. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, like, and share so more people can learn about these incredible pieces of history. Stay curious, keep searching, and who knows, maybe one day you will hold a penny worth almost $1 billion.